morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told how to voice a radio. So I've got one more of those lovely new cards that we talked about yesterday, and all of that good stuff. They revealed a bunch of cards yesterday. There's one that we've yet to talk about, and it would be very rude of me if I didn't show it to you. It's Milo. And what's really cool is we actually got Turffield Gym revealed a little while ago. So we now got Turffield Gym, which of course is Milo's gym. Now we've got Milo as well. Apparently this is going to be the Milo set, which that's kind of lovely when you think about it. So lovely that even though I usually use white backgrounds for generic trainer cards, I'm going green here. We've gone for the green background. What does Milo do? Nothing to do with grass whatsoever. Discard up to 2 cards from your hand. Draw 2 cards for each card you discarded in this way. It's a new draw supporter. And I don't know if it's coming around at the right time. You see, there was a time when we were desperate for draw supporters, where we were legitimately using stuff like Tate and Liza because gosh darn it, it was the best we had. We are absolutely overflowing with draw supporters right now. There is a strong argument we don't need this. But then again, like with so many of these cards, there is a strong argument that this is going to work really nicely in a bunch of decks, and that's kind of wonderful. Now, at the moment, when we're looking at the absolute, these are the ones we play, there are a few supporter cards that really show up more than any others. Cynthia, shuffle your hand into your deck, draw 6 cards. It is the best shuffle draw that we've got. It is absolutely over the top phenomenal. Milo is not going to be replacing Cynthia. Similarly, Professor's Research, Professor Magnolia, it's now called Professor's Research and it always will be in the future. It's just got the subtitle Professor Magnolia. It means that you get things like Juniper and Sycamore, and you can't play like 12 of what is essentially the same supporter. That would be dumb. Discard your hand, draw 7 cards. It is the fastest, most aggressive supporter that we've got. It lets you dig deeper into your deck than any other supporter. And again, there is no way that Milo is unseating Professor Magnolia. Professor's Research ain't being replaced by Milo. It ain't happening. Okay. But what about some of these other fringe cards? What about something like Coach Trainer? Coach Trainer, great card. Coach Trainer lets you draw 2 cards, but if your active Pokemon is a tag team Pokemon, you draw 2 more cards. As a quick little side note here, Pokemon has long had this thing where, look, you can draw 4 cards, but you can't just draw 4 cards. There's always some kind of catch. We're going to see this on a few of the other cards we look at in this video. So, Coach Trainer, yeah, you can draw 4 cards, if you've got a tag team Pokemon in the active. Now, if you're playing a quad Gardevoir and Sylveon deck, such that you're playing, well, to be fair, most of them play 5 Pokemon, 4 of them are Gardevoir and Sylveon, 1 is a tech that they rarely have in the active, Coach Trainer becomes awesome. And in terms of pure draw, it's great. I suppose if you just want pure draw, go for Howl. Or Hop if you really want, they're the same card. Like, they're literally the same card. They just draw 3 cards. Weirdly, this has not been errated, so in theory you could play 3 of each? Sorry, 4 of each to draw 3, but I don't think anyone's going to. Point is, in terms of, if you want guaranteed draw, play Hop or Howl, alright? This is about drawing 4 cards. Now, the one we've had, which is probably most similar to this recently, is Roller Skater. You see, Roller Skater has a discard and then draw 4 cards, but it's not that easy. You see, Roller Skater lets you discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. If, however, the card that you discarded from said hand was an energy card, then you get to draw 4 cards instead. Well, hang on a second. Roller Skater lets you draw 4 cards, and you only have to discard a single card, whereas Milo makes you discard 2 cards to draw 4. Yeah. Roller Skater only works for energy. And here's the thing. If we look at decks that want to discard, most of the time it is energy. When I'm giving examples of cards that work really nicely with discarding, I'm generally talking energy. So we've got Malamar that can accelerate energy from the deck to itself. We've got, to any of your bench Pokemon, it's Naganadel that accelerates to itself. And then if it's a water deck, you can always use Quagsire to move it into the active. Or we could talk about Metal Saucer, which lets you accelerate energy from the discard as long as it's metal to a bench metal Pokemon, in the proud tradition of Dark Patch and Aqua Patch before it. Or I might even be talking about that Alolan Executor, which does more damage for each type of basic energy that you've got in the discard pile. Cool. Most of the time it's energy. But it's not always energy. It's not a card that really sees much play, or probably really any play at all, but the Zoroark from Team Up. This attack does 20 damage for each Pokemon in your discard pile. You can't do more than 200 damage in this way. Or one of my favourites, the one that came from Cosmic Eclipse, Alolan Ninetales, Rubbish Blizzard. 0 energy. This attack does 10 damage for each Pokemon tool in your discard pile. Or maybe Almoldo from Cosmic Eclipse, Ancient Blast, 20 damage. This attack does 50 more damage for each unidentified fossil in your discard pile. Or the Aegislash from Unified Minds, 1 colourless energy, 10 damage for each item card in your discard pile. You see where we're going with this, ladies and gentlemen? A lot of the time, and I know a lot of the ones we're talking about don't see a huge amount of play. I do understand that. But that doesn't mean it excites me any less. Persian GX sees a fair amount of play. 3 colourless energy, or indeed 1 triple acceleration energy. And it does 10 damage, plus 20 more for each Pokemon in your discard pile, but you can't add more than 180 in this way. And the point through all of this is, yeah, sure, there are going to be a bunch of decks that want to discard energy, and if you want to discard energy, Roller Skater probably is a better option, because Roller Skater only makes you discard 1 card. But there are plenty of decks out there that want to discard other kind of cards, and this can be really good. I think Milo probably works best in a deck that wants both. Because if you just want to do the discard, we've got some other little tricks like that Duskull. And okay, Duskull might take up a bench space, but Duskull legit just lets you discard 3 cards from your hand. I mean, you can then, if you really want, search your deck for a card that evolves from Duskull, put it on this Pokemon to evolve it, but your deck is secret, so you can do the discarding and then do the searching. You can't search and evolve unless you discard 3 cards, but you can just discard 3 cards. And if all you care about is a discard, maybe Duskull is better. Or maybe you want to play something like Zeb Striker that discards your entire hand and draws 4 cards. Okay. But if you want pure draw, and you're playing a deck that either wants to or doesn't care about discarding cards, I think this is brilliant. This is not a new staple in every deck. This is not going to replace Cynthia. It's not going to replace Magnolia. It's not going to jump in instead of those. But there are plenty of decks out there that play these fringe cards like Coach Trainer, like Roller Skater, like maybe even Hop or Howl. And those decks might look at Milo and go, you know what? That's actually better than what I'm playing. It gives you another option. And let's face it, I've given you a bunch of examples of Pokemon that hit harder because of X in the discard pile. Can you honestly tell me we're not going to see more of this in the future? No, obviously you can't. That would be silly. So my point here is that there are plenty of reasons you would want to play this. And honestly, there's probably plenty of times you're not going to want to play this. And that's okay. There are going to be plenty of decks where you look at Milo and go, you know what, Milo? No, not into it. And that's okay. But there are going to be plenty of decks that are going to want to play this. And I struggle with the score a little bit. Let's give it between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. I don't see this as a staple in every deck. I do see it seeing a fair bit of play in a variety of decks. And so for that reason, I think between 3 and 4 Wassies sounds fair. But hey, maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Wherever you fall, I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where you can find out about a whole bunch of games that don't have Pokemon in, but we love them just the same. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.